we're in an industry where you're in high rejection. We're one of the worst markets that we probably have been in. And so there's a lot of things pushing against that. And so again, we are here to be that light for you. We are here to be alongside you. And we are here for us to get to the other side, because the market will change. It will go back the other direction. And we want to make sure that you are in the best position as possible when that happens, for you to over index, for you to take more market share than what you should have. Like, that is when we all will start winning together.
Good morning and welcome to another Motivational Monday. I'm Robert Palmer, today's host. Matt Hodge is wrapping up some important brokerage business. I think he's going to try to join us before we get out of here, but in case he doesn't, we didn't want to keep you guys waiting, and we are kicking off on time. Today is my last Motivational Monday coming to you from Montana. I will be back in Florida next Monday in the studio. Excited for that. And we've got some exciting stuff coming up. We've got Spring Con happening in the month of April. And then we get over into some team events, and we're going to put together some additional masterminds. I'm really excited to get back into Florida and spend time with everybody. But Spring Con is that first opportunity to kick that off. So if you're one of our lucky agents who picked up a Spring Con ticket before they sold out, I'm really excited to see you here coming up. It's going to be a great couple of days at the Nest. With that, we're going to jump right into it. Got some exciting stuff going on today. First thing I want to kick off with is we've talked about the Real Trends submission for us as LPT. For those of you who maybe missed the last couple of weeks, our momentum continues to build. You know, if you think about the fact that we are only a 4-year-old brokerage. And, you know, we look at competitors, we look at companies who came before us, and I can promise you their numbers by year 4 look nothing like this. But when we look at the Real Trends 2023 numbers for LPT, we did 13,200 transactions, grew that to 36,000 transactions, and just submitted 61,000 transactions, which is now being verified by Real Trends. And I think coming up in the next 2 weeks, we're going to get the official ranking. So really excited to see how far up in the top 10 we move with 61,000 transactions across 21,000 agents. And again, the thing I love to point out here is our transaction growth continues to outpace our agent count growth, which means that agents get here and they do more deals. You know, and look, and I personally, I don't love the whole transaction per agent metric because it directly conflicts with individual definition of success. You know, if we look at our industry, the most productive brokerage in the Real Trends top 10 is Real Trends, you know, at 27 units a year per agent. But I can promise you Redfin at 27 units an agent is not recognizing agents' individual definition of success. You know, they are W-2 employees. They are firing agents who don't meet minimum metrics. And again, that's just not who we are. You know, we're here to recognize everybody's individual definition of success. And if there are agents here at LPT, which there are, that are doing a couple of deals a year because that's their definition of success, we're here to support that. You know, and so again, you know, what drives those productivity numbers up? Well, it means you're not supporting agents who aren't doing a lot of deals. You know, the folks with the high number will argue it means they have all the top performers. I will argue it means they have abandoned their agents who are just getting started. They have abandoned their agents who are just still trying to figure this out. Nobody comes out of this game and does 100 transactions, you know, their first year. Maybe a few people have. It's very, very rare. You've got to find somewhere that will help you grow, help you learn, provide you tools. And if you're abandoning agents who do less than X number of deals a year because you're worried about that dragging down your average agent productivity, that's not the kind of brokerage we came to build. And so what we focus on is, are we improving that metric year over year? Are our agents getting more productive when they get here? And whether that's going from 1 transactions to 3 transactions, or 5 transactions to 10 transactions, or a team going from 100 transactions to 1,300 transactions, which we've had happen here, we're here to be committed to everyone's individual definition of success. And so again, the new Real Trends numbers will come out. We've put up another improvement there. The other interesting thing is when you're growing so quickly, you know, most of our agents weren't even here the full 12 months to be counted in those numbers. So think about the fact that we did over 60,000 transactions, but 6 or 7,000 of our agents weren't even here the full 12 months. We only started the year with 14,000 agents. Those are the only 14,000 agents that could put up a full 12 months worth of production here at LPT. And so again, we're always going to put the commitment to individual definition of success above some vanity metric of, do we have too many agents that are doing this many deals? Do we need to offboard our low producing agents? No, we need to help them be more successful. We need to give them listing power tools. We need to get them plugged into Motivation Monday. We need to get them to SpringCon, to FallCon. This is what it's all about. So I'm super proud of our Real Trends numbers. Again, those are the brokerage numbers. And I'm going to tell you, while those are cool and very exciting, they're less important than what we're getting into next, which is our individual agent numbers, right? And so we're going to be submitting here in the next week or so, the numbers for our agents. And we're going to take care of this for you, right? There's a couple of different ways you can submit for Real Trends. You have to get in there, and I think you got to pay a few $100s if you want to submit yourself. Well, don't worry. Here at LPT, we're going to pay the fees. We're going to submit for you. Here's how this works. We will submit for you. We're going to absorb the fees. We want to make sure that everybody gets plugged in there who qualifies. But I do need your help. If you are new to LPT in 2025, then I do not have your full 12 months production data, right? Like we were just talking about. If you joined LPT in July or August or September, you may have only contributed a couple deals here to LPT because of the time of year, because of how long you were here, because of closing out deals with your prior brokerage. But we want to submit your full 12 months production data to Real Trends. And so if you meet the eligibility requirements, which we're going to get into here in a second, and you were new to LPT Realty in 2025, right, then you need to tell us your production because we can't automatically submit you. On the flip side, if you were with us for the full year, if you joined us in 2024, 2023, you don't need to do anything. We're going to take care of it for you. As your brokerage, we know about all of your closings. We will get that submitted for you. We are paying all of the fees to Real Trends. But again, if you joined us after the beginning of 2025, or really more importantly, if you closed any deals at a different brokerage in 2025, those don't go into our numbers, right? Our 61,000 transactions as a brokerage don't include the 5 or 7 or 10 deals or however many that you closed with your former brokerage before you transitioned over to LPT, but your numbers should. And so when we submit your numbers to Real Trends, we need you to tell us what you closed at your old brokerage if you were not here for the full year. You're going to do that by submitting a ticket to help@lptrealty.com. Again, bullet point 2 there. If you're with us for the whole year, if you didn't close deals anywhere else, don't worry about it. We've run the data out of Connect. We've got you covered. When submitting, include your sales volume, include your sides and volume. We need both. Real Trends wants to know how many sides and your volume. We will verify that. Then we'll go check and look in public records and look in MLS to verify your numbers. But we need you to tell us about it first because there's a whole lot of data out there that we can't just go mining through. We're going to need that by Thursday, April 2nd. All right. So you've got till the end of this week. I'm probably a week late. I meant to do this last week and we had too much going on with FallCon and everything else. So if you are one of these folks, down here, agent ranking eligibility, if you did 25 sides or 10 million or more in 2025, but some portion of that was not with LPT, we need you to tell us about it, okay? City rankings, 15 sides or 6 million. We're going to be submitting those for you as well. If you're a team leader who joined us after 2025, 40 sides or 16 million, city rankings is 25 sides or 10 million. So again, if you were with us the whole year, we got you covered. If you joined us late in the year, we're going to submit for you. If you joined after January 2026, I see your question here, Angela. Yeah, I'll submit you too. Let me know what you did in 2025. We got you covered. So basically you did all of your volume in 2025 with somebody else, but I still want to submit you. I want you to get this award. So yeah, even if you didn't join LPT until after the beginning of the year, we will still submit you as a part of our bulk upload to make sure that you get taken care of. So again, really excited about this. We want to make sure everybody who did Real Trends, who qualifies for Real Trends, that is now a part of the LPT family gets recognized. All right, we did our DESI Awards. Really excited about that. Our DESI Awards let us recognize agents across LPT all the way down to the zip code level. Now we are making sure that Real Trends, the industry, national experts on agent ranking have all of our data as well. Matt Hodge, welcome to the call. Really glad you made it, brother. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had to go home and change the shirt so that we could be matching on the shirts. We got a few minutes behind. Yeah. I missed your opening intro, man.
I realize it's the first time I've done that. Again, it was, I'll tell you where it got a little awkward is having to transition myself from the intro into the content like that. I mean, everybody watching maybe caught that. There was like a little bit of, okay, I've now introed and I'm throwing it to myself. Right. And I don't know. I think I got through it. Okay. Which
Awesome.
with that, and I'm really glad you made it because there was another slide I want to share. I'm throwing Davey all kind of curveballs here. Davey, if you can throw up our Motivation Monday consecutive appearances slide here. So 180. We have now done 180 consecutive weeks of Motivation Monday without missing one. I'm so glad Matt Hodge didn't miss today's because I was going to have to skip this entire thing. But I want to take this as an opportunity, and I'm glad you're here to have this conversation with me, Matt, is this idea of consistency, repetition, showing up, commitment, and how important these things are in our business. And I'll tell you what's really interesting. I really think that social media helped make this evident to a lot more people, right? I think that for a lot of entrepreneurs, we understood this early. You got to show up every week. There's certain things you have to do. They have to become non-negotiables, no matter how much you don't want to do it that day, no matter how much you don't feel like it. Like that is what makes things really work as an entrepreneur. And I think social media showed people that by rewarding it as you go, right? Because as an entrepreneur, we don't necessarily get rewarded for that consistency, right? You see the little build, like we saw the Motivation Monday, audience continue to grow over time. And we saw people getting more and more engaged in the community that it helped build. But social media gave us this like instant hit where like, wow, the more consistent I am, the more committed I am, the more I show up, the more likes I get, the more shares I get, the more comments I get. But this applies to all aspects of our business. And whether you are farming a neighborhood, holding open houses, building a real estate team, honing your craft on your own, that commitment and consistency is what it's all about. Because if we give up too soon, if we're hit and miss with our efforts, nothing will replace commitment and consistency. And one of the things that I've committed and we've committed here as a brokerage is we don't want to just talk about that. I just don't want to come on here and say, you all should be committed and you all should be consistent. We want to show you, like we want to be that beacon. We want to be that light. And so I'm really proud of 180 Motivation Mondays in a row. We have not missed a single week. It doesn't matter where we are in the world. We show up here every single week for this team, for this family, for this community. And we have done that 180 times in a row. Today is actually the 181st. Yeah. Last week was our 180th. We completed 180. Today's 181. But again, I want to talk more about commitment and consistency, but your thoughts, man. Like again, I'll tell you, I went back and watched the early videos. And so there were a couple of early Motivational Mondays that I missed a couple, you missed one here and there. But once we hit that mark, which was, I think it was the first or second week of October in 2022. That's when we dialed in and said, this is our thing. We have not missed one in 180 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think about what you were talking about from individual definition of success and where people come into. And so I just think about it when I first started in real estate, like I was a part-time agent. I didn't have the ability to, go full-time. I was a young family. Like I didn't have the ability to do it. And so to your point, like if I didn't have that consistency at that time on the little things that I was capable of doing at that time, I would have never gotten to that next level. And you're right. If there was someone who said, hey, that doesn't match my version of success, you're never going to be anything in the business, I would sit from the chair that I'm at now and say, I don't think that's correct. But I started off with all that I could do. And that was my definition of success. And so, as I continued to grow and, I had to do little things that you taught me, which was, hey, I'm going to put X amount of money aside because I hate the way it feels to write that check every single month. So if I can put like a 6-month budget and just try to forget it, it was all those things that helped me be consistent at the thing that I had to do. And at that time, it was farming neighborhoods. It was doing open houses. I would stop in on the way to work. I had a friend who was a big REO agent, and they would let me do open houses anytime I want at their vacant properties. So if I had a couple hours before my other job, I would just go do an open house and try to pick up some buyers. Again, all of those things were to fit my definition of success. But more importantly, it was consistently doing the same thing over and over. And it wasn't pretty and it wasn't glamorous and it wasn't something that anyone was cheering me on for. But, I can look back at my career now and see how it shaped it. We just want to provide that motivation for others to fight through those same things.
Absolutely, man. Again, that concept, that individual definition of success, and again, how that comes back to, this idea of average units per agent or agent productivity.
Ridiculous.
A Redfin wouldn't have let you done that, right? A Redfin wouldn't have been like, yeah, man, you can still have your other job. Like, the more you squash someone's individual definition of success, the more you can fake these vanity metrics or push people up. We're here to make sure everybody wins, and that's really what my heart's drawn to. I know it's what your heart's drawn to. It's what got us here. It's what brought us here. We're not here to leave anybody behind. We're not here to abandon agents. We're not here to set up a model that only rewards agents who are doing, basically cappers. And really, if you look at a lot of our industry, it has been built in a way now where the brokerages, they overcharge the non-cappers, right? Like if you're an agent doing 1 or 2 deals a year, paying 20% of that commission or whatever to the brokerage on top of whatever splits you're going to have with your team, or, that you're going to spend on leads and running your business, like that drives those folks away. And so when I look at it, when a brokerage's productivity goes up, to me, that doesn't mean they're winning by helping their agents be more productive. It means they're losing because they're driving away the agents who need the help the most. And that's something we're not going to do here, right? Individual definition of success, one of our core values, means that we will stay committed to every agent, no matter what that individual definition of success is. Because look, we know today's agent who is part-time, who's maybe only doing a couple deals a year, hey, they're the future's executive vice president. I mean, look at your story, look at your journey. And if your brokerage had abandoned you in those early years, or said, hey, we're not going to take you because you're a part-time agent, or hey, we're not going to take you unless you can walk away from your job and your health benefits and go all in, that's not who we are. And I think the industry has gotten pushed too much in that direction because it's easy for people to go on social media and shout about these vanity metrics, or shout down on us because we're not as productive as them or whatever. And all they're doing is hurting the very agents who need the help the most. And, when we look at our overall ecosystem, there's so many paths for agents to succeed, but we're not here to force you into that success, right? Your individual definition of success. If you want to join a team, LPT has some of the absolute best top teams in the country, and that's going to come out as the next Real Trends revolves. We have more large teams than any of the big brokerages out there when you look at where we are. Well, what does that do? That creates opportunities for maybe a solo agent or an agent who does want to, get on a team because they think they need that to be more productive, or they're going to plug into listing power tools, or they're going to plug into LPT Plus. We have all these different paths to help people find that individual definition of success. But what we're not going to do, what we're never going to do, is throw someone out of this brokerage or make them feel unwelcome because their individual definition of success doesn't line up with some industry minimum, productivity per agent metric, which is nonsense. And we're not going to make them feel less than. We're not going to abandon them. We're not going to throw them out of here. We're going to continue to support them at the highest level, because we know in the future, if that definition of success ever changes, we are their brokerage for life. And that's a true commitment. And that's a true pillar that we have here as an enterprise. And we're the only brokerage thinking about it that way. I'm telling you, when you look at the other models, they are so tilted toward the super high producing agents, which is great, right? We reward our super high producing agents too, but they got the balance wrong. They got the balance wrong where they're hurting the smaller agent who's trying to get going. They're hurting the agent whose individual definition of success is not to be a capper, right? They're not at a point in their life where they can do that. They're hurting them at the expense of the others. And that's just not the system we built here.
There's so much about what you said that I just love, and that I am like a true testament of, you providing that guidance to me early in my career. And for those who are just joining in, Robert and I became friends many years ago. And right when I got into real estate, he was giving me this guidance on what I would need to do to kind of make it through the next level. And so, small budget, single agent. And so I followed that guidance. And sometimes it was not fun. It was like, hey, go do open house, 10 times a month. And, it was these things that would be very, very sweat equity. But I was faithful in the process and it worked in my favor. And so I guess what I'm saying is that this company at the bones, at the structure of it, is designed to give that entrepreneur life. Like, we want to help you because it can go in whatever direction you want. We have, like Robert said, we have agents who came here who were doing maybe 50 deals who are now doing 1,300. Like, it doesn't mean that's a small vision. It just means that the platform that we have is designed to give you the best opportunity for you to define your success, not for us. And so I guess we kind of drum that beat all the time, but I want to make sure that it's just very clear that we are here to help entrepreneurs win. We win when you win. If you stop doing deals, we stop doing deals. There's shared economics, but we take on on responsibility here at the brokerage to try to help you win and clear as many obstacles out of your day as possible. And we can't clear them all, but we for damn sure are going to try our best. So, I love being a part of this community. I love, being here to help you with your mission. And I love seeing our entrepreneurs win because it is happening at a big level.
Yeah, man, it's great. And look, and tell you, real trends this year, again, it's going to be a wake up call for the industry. The number of top producing agents, the number of top producing teams that are here. I mean, it's unmatched. I mean, again, we have some of the absolute largest and most productive teams and agents in the country on the LPT platform. But then we also, again, we have a place for the aspiring agent. And again, we're not going to change that, man. We're not going to abandon our vision. We're going to stay true to who we are. And that is to help everybody succeed. Some of you have heard me tell this story before. I grew up with a single mom, and she was back and forth between mortgage and real estate. It's what got me into this industry. And I remember the roller coaster that she rode. And I remember that there would be months when she got a big commission check. And, I thought we were like the richest kids in the richest family in the world. And, back in the day, I'm going to age myself a little bit here, but back in the day, having a button down Tommy Hilfiger shirt was this big status symbol in school. And so I remember we go from 1 month big commission, I get a brand new Tommy Hilfiger shirt. And then 3 months later, I remember being in the floorboard of the car, counting change so we could pay our electric bill. Our electricity was cut off. My mom was a diabetic. So if that refrigerator didn't get turned back on and her insulin went bad, that was it, game over. And so I remember as a 7 or 8 year old kid being on the floorboard of the car, we took the big Zephyr Hills 5-gallon, jug that we kept change in, and we dumped it in the floorboard of the car, and we raced to the electric company, Lakeland Electric down on Lake Mirror, so that we could pay that electric bill before they closed. And I never forget this as a kid. We got there and the lobby was closed. And so we had to go through the drive-through window because it stayed open later. It was one of those bank teller things. And we get there and I've got the change rolled and counted out the money we need to pay the electric bill and get the power turned back on. And there's a sign on the thing that says no change. You can only put cash or checks in this tube. And I remember my mom being we're sending it. And she put that change in there. And I had this vision of the tube exploding when it hit the other side of the window for that poor person who had to collect it. But we were not her tenacity, she was not giving up. We were not leaving there because again, if that refrigerator got hot and her insulin got ruined, that was a whole nother problem financially and health wise and everything else. And that shaped me so much. And I remember that as a kid. And so a big part of my mission, the reason I created Listing Power Tools originally, a big part of creating LPT Realty was to help that next 8-year-old kid who's single parent or parents are in this up and down real estate industry, not have to have a memory like that where they're counting change in the floorboard of a car, by helping agents get off the roller coaster. And there's a lot of ways to do that. And LPT focuses on so many of them, but you don't help someone get off the roller coaster by abandoning them because their transaction count isn't high enough. And that's a big part of my why. It's a big part of who drives, what drives who I am. And a lot of things we do here is a memory of my mom and a testament to my mom. She passed away during COVID from her diabetes. But again, it was one of those memories that has shaped me, and it has shaped so much of what we've put into and built here at LPT.
That is right. Well, seems like everyone is resonating. There's so many stories inside of the chat of people who are in all different places of that. Maybe they're at the place where they're not doing as much business as that they would call successful, or maybe they're just starting in real estate and they're facing, it's difficult when you first get in and you are having that drought of no compensation, for the first 90 days, 120 days. It's a difficult period of time. And then we're in an industry where you're in high rejection. We're one of the worst markets that we probably have been in. And so there's a lot of things pushing against that. And so again, we are here to be that light for you. We are here to be alongside you. And we are here for us to get to the other side because the market will change. It will go back the other direction. And we want to make sure that you are in the best position as possible when that happens, for you to over index, for you to take more market share than what you should have. That is when we all will start winning together. And we get it. We will make it through the valley at this time together, but we are looking towards the next side. Robert, you always say you prepare for the bust in the boom, you prepare for the boom in the bust. And so right now, I would consider this market a bust market, and we are preparing for the boom.
That's it, man. All right, shifting gears a little bit. We did unveil FallCon tickets last week. We've got a couple of slides here we want to touch on before we get out of here, just for anybody who missed last week. I'll tell you, I was shocked. Those VIP tickets were flying off the shelves last week. I think we almost all of the early bird special, the VIP tickets that come with the that come with that buddy pass are almost gone. There's a handful left. So again, we've got FallCon coming up April 6th to the 8th. It will be at the RP Funding Center. Again, a building that is special to me. I graduated high school in that building back in the day, and then almost 10 years ago, rebranded it to the RP Funding Center, named after my mortgage company. I shared the story of how self-limiting belief. I did not want to have LPT conferences there because I didn't want anyone believing that I launched this brokerage so I could try to get mortgages or whatever, which was the early narrative against us, by the competitors. 4 years in now, I think it's easy to see that no one has done any mortgages with RP funding. We stay in our lane and do our refis and our servicing. But I am really excited to welcome the entire LPT family to the RP Funding Center, which is a massive facility. It's going to give us so much flexibility. You can fly in either Tampa or Orlando. It's pretty much dead center in the two. Lots of great hotels nearby. Legoland, which used to be called Cypress Gardens, is right there. You've got Disney on the Orlando side. You've got Adventure Island and Busch Gardens on the Tampa side. Like the Seminole Hard Rock Casino is there. Lots of really cool stuff in the area, but we're going to be able to have a really amazing conference there at a super affordable price. If we can throw that slide up, the general admission ticket is just $299. That'll get you to the main stage and everything. I am going to do a certification track again, $1,099, just like last year. And then we've got the VIP tickets for $25.99. Again, lots of choices there depending on your definition of success. You decide where you want to be. One of the cool things we are doing with the VIP tickets is if you missed last year's FallCon, you can get all 3 of last year's FallCon certifications, including the workbooks and the video playbacks as a part of that VIP ticket, in addition to our normal VIP benefits. We've got the certification track. This year, we're going to do an AI unfair advantage. We're taking AI to the next level. Last year, we did our AI Advantage certification. This year, we're kicking up a notch to the AI Unfair Advantage for 2026 to really help everybody take the AI models to the next level. And I know a lot's going to change between now and October when we get together. And then we're also doing an amazing listing marketing certification. We can go on to the next slide, Dave. One of the other big changes we're making this year is we're actually going to give you a designation as a part of that certification as well. Where last year we just did the certificates. This year we're going to do actual designation badges that go with the certifications that we teach. So again, grab your ticket today, whatever level you want to participate at, whether that's the $299 general admission, whether that's the VIP or the certification. And right now, each ticket still comes with a buddy pass. The VIP early bird for the buddy pass is almost sold out. Certification, I think we're about halfway through those coming with the buddy pass. And then general admission, we're going to keep that open as long as we can. I want to have as many LPT agents, future LPT agents, aspiring LPT agents, bring your kids if they're at the age where they understand business and you think exposing them to real estate would be helpful. Bring a spouse who's not in the industry. You can use that buddy pass for anyone who is not currently an LPT agent, bringing potential recruits, folks you want to bring onto your team, folks you want to bring into the brokerage. It's going to be a really amazing time for us all to come together, and we want it to be even bigger and better than last year. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And one last time there, hotels. Thanks for keeping me honest, Dave. Hotel rooms. This was something we heard last year. We've got 2 amazing hotel packages here. The Hyatt Place, which is right at the RP Funding Center there in Lakeland, $159 a night. And then the Spring Hill Suites, $189 a night. So again, a lot of really great affordable hotel options. We've been able to go in there and negotiate, but lots of great Airbnbs nearby. And again, you can stay near Tampa, you can stay near Orlando. Super convenient. The RP Funding Center is right off of Interstate 4. We actually have a great exit sign. So there is an exit off of I-4 that is the exit to the RP Funding Center, which again was a really cool moment for me. As a kid, again, growing up with a single mom with memories of rolling change to get our power turned back on, to be driving down the interstate one day and seeing that building that I graduated high school in, now having my initials on it, RP Funding, the RP Funding Center, and having our own exit off of the highway. But it makes it very, very convenient for us all to get to. So FallCon's going to be a great time this year. We're going to bring the education. We're going to bring the motivation. If you are stuck in that place where, you're only doing a couple of deals a year and you're not at your individual definition of success, plugging into a conference like this, plugging into an event like this can be the difference maker for you. The connections you make, the friends you make, the knowledge you walk away with, the little tips and tricks that we're going to share. It's all about helping everyone maximize that individual definition of success without ever asking you to change it, without ever asking you to be something you're not, but to help you achieve that individual definition of success at the absolute highest level that meets your personal definition. So I'm going to close this up in here. We're a little bit of time over. Davey will leave you with the QR code. So now I had to transition from content into closing. So you guys got to see me go both ways with this, having to do my own intro and transition, and then now having to transition from content into my own closing. So we're going to leave you with the QR code for FallCon tickets. If you want to grab those and join us there. Look, guys, make it a great week. Again, no matter what that individual definition of success is, keep pushing through. Don't ever let anyone make you feel less than or like you don't belong. You are part of this family, whether you're closing 1 or 2 deals a year, or like I said, we've got teams closing 2,000 plus deals a year. We have the entire spectrum here, and we're going to celebrate everybody. That's what the Desi's were really about. And we got a lot of hate from the competitors about the Desi's too, awarding someone for only winning in a single zip code. Well, real estate is local. Real estate is about that local market and being the best you can in your zip code. Like, that's something I respect. That's something I want to celebrate. We are going to celebrate the absolute best in the country with Real Trends. That's coming. Don't forget to submit your Real Trends numbers if you aren't with us. But I think the beauty of LPT and the big difference with LPT is we are committed to celebrating everyone, no matter where they are in that journey, no matter what that individual definition of success is. And that's different. That is unique to our industry, but it's very powerful. And we can see it in how fast we've grown. We can see it in the success that agents have on our platform who have plugged in, who have taken their business to the next level. And so again, I just want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of this amazing company, this amazing journey. We will be nothing without all of you out there representing us and taking care of your clients and doing the absolute best job you can in how you serve your clients and their listings and on their purchases. And so with that, we'll see you next week. I'll be back in Florida. I'll see a lot of you at SpringCon coming up, and I'm going to see a whole lot of you this October at FallCon. So make sure you grab those tickets while those buddy passes are still available. Make it a great week, and we'll see you back here next Monday on Motivational Monday.